I want to do, they have a Lord of the
Here we
Rings
go.
too.
Hey, look, it's time. 11 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for April the 10th, 2025. Good to see everybody here. Let's jump right in because, there's a bunch on the agenda today. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes of the previous meeting? If so, entertain any motions related to?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
January's giving me that look of panic over there.
Can you guys hear out there very well? I don't think so.
Well, if they'd quit talking to each other, they could maybe.
Can you hear me now?
There.
There, we turned up some mics. So we'll see how that does. Okay. We'll hit more buttons. There we go. Okay, so motion and a second to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, and I'll entertain, sorry, you guys got me off track. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No public hearings, no old business, go straight into new business. The farmer's market lot. Looks like we've got a couple different things going on, so let's start with the first one. Junkyard Barbecue, Mr. Toby Calhoun, no complaints that I'm aware of. Would like to be there May the 1st from 11 to 7 and April the 18th from 11 to 7. Does not say whether this is some sort of fundraiser, but Toby's been there before, and like I said, no complaints that I'm aware of.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, Junkyard. Next up, the farmers markets. This will be on Wednesdays. This is our normal annual farmers market permission. Farmers market under the Jackson County Chamber. Miss Carrie Miller is the person making the request. Wednesdays they'll be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Is that new, Wednesdays?
No, it's been that way for years.
Okay.
And then Saturdays from 8 to noon, May 10th through September 27th. Again, they always try to finish before Oktoberfest. And then I know some years it seems like they come back and maybe do a few after. But right now she's just asking for May the 10th through the 27th, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
I don't think we've had any complaints that I'm aware of, so I'll make a motion to allow the farmer's market to operate during those dates and times.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we got a special request from Copper Top for Jingle and Mingle Market. Is anybody here to speak on Copper Top? You want to speak or you want me to go through it?
You can go through it. If you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer.
What's your name?
Jonna Burns.
Jonna, okay. So we have Jonna here to answer questions, but I will read it, and if you have questions, we'll let her answer them. Okay, November 21st from 4 to 8 p.m. and November 22nd from 9 to 3 p.m. Copper Top is located at 100 St. Louis Avenue. They would like 2 food trucks to be parked in the parking spots along Indianapolis Avenue during the event, so the 21st, 4 to 8, 22nd, 9 to 3, for the Jingle and Mingle Market. Questions?
Well, again, just like last time, I don't like them sitting in the street like that. Did it work when you put them in the parking lot? Was that okay?
I attended that event as a vendor. I didn't personally. This is like my event that I'm putting on. I feel like, I guess it was okay in a sense, but I feel like having them like right there where people are going to be entering would be the best probably source of business for them. And the 2 food trucks it's going to be is the Spud Bank and the Junkyard Barbecue that are set up here in Seymour quite often.
Would the road remain open or would it be closed?
Open. I would just like to have the truck and their trailer in those parking spaces, so the only thing that wouldn't be, the street would still be utilized, it would just be those parking spaces where their vehicles and trailer would be parked during that time.
So they'll be serving on the sidewalk?
Their trailers would be facing the sidewalk, yes.
So traffic would go behind the food trucks if there's traffic, is that correct?
It would just go beside of them, pass right along the street, as you would now if there was, it would just be like if there was cars parked there now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be no
Gotcha.
different, they would just be parked in those.
The back of their trailer would be up against the railroad track, so to speak. No?
No, they would be in the parking spots, in those parking spaces.
Yes, but their
Around.
back would face the railroad track would,
Yes,
okay.
correct.
Okay.
And cars could still access the road.
So people, pedestrians would be walking across the street there to get their food.
Okay, Chris just handed me the mobile food truck ordinance. You want me to read that whole paragraph or just the one line?
I think there's the one line.
Okay, so, section 12 of the ordinance says, on public streets, a mobile food vehicle shall not park within 20 feet of an intersection. So you'd have to be 20 feet back from St. Louis Avenue. Bus stop, no problem there. Crosswalk, that's basically the intersection. Or no, there's not a crosswalk there, is there?
No.
Driveway though, is there still a driveway on the side of the building?
That I'm not 100%.
Okay. Alleyway, so you'd have to be 20 feet south of the alley behind the building. Building entrance, or walk-up window, or within 15 feet of a fire hydrant.
I don't think there's any plugs on that stretch.
And
It's across the street.
I looked at Brad and then I remembered the chief's over there too, so.
It's across the street in the parking lot.
Okay, so that part's, and then, and you can't operate in alleyways, so that's the other part of that one.
And potentially depending on spacing, they might need to get permission from Schweitzers if they're occupying spaces, within 50 feet of Schweitzers. I think that's on the previous page. I didn't underline.
It's section 8, 50 feet of ground level establishment that sells food or beverages, so you'd have to be 50 feet away from Schweitzers. Thoughts?
It sounds like that, it sounds like that's gonna be pretty tight in there. Under our ordinance, I don't know how big those trailers are, but 2 of them,
Spud Bank's just a truck.
Yeah, Spud Bank's a pretty small truck.
Junkyard's a truck and a trailer, so it's gonna take up a lot.
but how far from the alley?
20 feet, which you might be surpassed by the 50 foot from Schweitzers without permission.
Well, trailer and a truck's gonna be
2 to 3 places.
40 feet.
Dixon, what is there, 4 parking spaces there?
That's what I was just looking at.
I think there's 5 from, that's just like the copper top area, not in the alleyway or not in that restaurant behind that. And I would ask that junkyard, like, detaches from their trailer, so then that way they're not utilizing extra space that's not needed.
I don't like it.
No Brad's opinion.
It'd probably fit, I mean, other than the 50 feet if they detach the truck, cause Spud Bank's
May I,
the
if they
size of one
detach
of
the
our,
truck, yeah, do they do
you know,
that?
vans that, transit vans.
I was gonna say, I mean, Spud Bank's a 15-foot truck at most. The trailer's a 20-something probably.
With a
'Cause he's
crew
got
cab
the-
truck, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the back of it is where he cooks.
Uh-huh.
Is this the same spot we had them
There's 4 spots.
move from last time, two meetings ago?
Last meeting, we didn't approve using those spots for
It's the same spot.
same spots, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I just see it being a,
We just tabled it last time though,
That's
I
true.
believe.
Yeah,
and then they decided to move to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of a recommendation, yeah.
I will add, the only concern I have with the parking lot is the people that will be attending the market, if they're handicapped, there's no crosswalk to get to that parking lot. Across the railroad tracks.
Well, do you mind saying what kind of event it is?
Yeah, it's a holiday vendor market, so we're gonna have, upwards of close to like 40 vendors coming from all over. They'll be set up inside the copper top. I just wanted the food to be outside. I think it would just be a lot cleaner and things like that. But yeah, 40 vendors are coming from all over Indiana, some from out of state. 2-day event. I think it should help a lot of small businesses and bring some revenue to downtown Seymour.
I would prefer to see those on St. Louis than Indianapolis. Is that possible?
It's so tight through there.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
tight
The
also.
back end
Yeah.
the parking,
Yeah.
is at a premium over there. We lose
Well,
it.
see, my mind went the opposite direction and going to Jeffersonville. Go due south of it, you can see it from 50, maybe it attracts a few more people to come to the event, and then there's no buildings immediately around it on either side over there. And if JCB would allow you, you could even be off the street in their parking spaces along the tracks there. Was where my mind went to as opposed to St. Louis.
Don't want to block the EV charger.
You could use the EV charger for power, maybe. I don't know. Somebody's probably figured that out in the world.
Well, I think we need to be consistent in what we decided, and I unfortunately, I think that, we just,
How about if we if they explore other options and bring it back? I mean, we got till November, so.
let's, yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, just to see.
You okay with that?
Gives us an opportunity.
Yeah, I just need to let the vendors know because both of the vendors have already paid booth fees, so if that's something that we can't do, I don't wanna hold them up if there's other opportunities for them to do in that time
I'm sure
period.
he'd find a spot somewhere, but,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and I just want them, essentially, I want them to be as close as they can be because I want the shoppers to also get food, or maybe people just wanting dinner that night in Seymour, they could come down
Right.
there and get food. Yeah.
Bernie?
I was just gonna interrupt, St. Louis is set up with the power to plug into,
Across the tracks, not on that
I
side.
know, and I'm just saying, there might be a way to cone off, 5 or 6 feet of that crossing, the railroad crossing there, if that could get pedestrians back and forth.
And the trucks are self-contained, so they're gonna have to supply their own electricity, so there's not gonna be any power cables or anything like that running.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just had
generator.
junkyard last night, so.
Let's table this request for now and gives us an opportunity to go and actually look, see what kind of room and space we do have.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to table this till we,
Second.
Motion
more
and a
research.
second to table. All those in favor signify with aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Explore down there a little bit and see what other thoughts you have on what you think might work with it as well.
Okay.
I'll
I
do the
know
same.
these guys will all go drive through it over the next couple days and
Yeah.
kind of
I'll
get
look
an idea.
around.
we're all for it, we just have to
Those streets
make
are
sure
just
we
really
cross our T's and
narrow
dot our
and-
I's.
Yeah, no,
Kinda
I
messed up
totally
there.
understand. And
Okay.
two, I also work for Harmon Construction, so if there's any areas like we need to cone off or anything, I would be happy to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
you.
Okay, next up, I'm doing a very good job of handing stuff around here. Next up, mobile food truck renewal. Governor's Corner would like to continue to be a food truck here at the city of Seymour. They do have ice cream products and shaved ice. They did not use the phrase frozen novelties. They're not gonna sell alcohol and they have reviewed the rules. Insurance. Board of Health, check. Photographs, check. Driver's license for Mr. Nicholas Kovner, that is still current. Yep, expires in 2031. And their retail merchant certificate. As far as I know, no complaints. Any complaints that I know that you ladies know of out there? They're all distracted.
You're all busy talking.
Well, you and
That's Deb's fault.
you and Mel were both chatting it up. Any complaints we know of on Governor's Corner? Thank you.
Except that they don't give us free samples.
Well, they're not gonna give you free samples.
That's what we were discussing.
Well, but we can put a tariff on it.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion and second to approve Governor's Corner renewal. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Jason Stahl is the name of the applicant. Sells mini donuts, Salt Creek, Nashville, Indiana. I thought he was a local. Let's go through the list here. Liability insurance, check. Board of Health, check. Retail food inspection, check. Mini Donut Picture, license expires in 2030, and a retail merchant certificate. Complaints, ladies, anything you guys have heard?
It's a renewal, right?
This is a renewal as well. What do you mean, kind of?
It lapsed.
He lapsed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you had one last year, it just lapsed a little
He's
bit.
done it before, yeah.
Okay.
Everything seems to be in place. I'll make a motion to, renew his license.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Dylan Walls is going to read us the entire medical qualification policy update. All 19 pages, word for word.
Word for word.
Or he might give us the synopsis of it. What are we looking at?
Really, NDOT, all they did was change our template to make it a little easier to navigate. And they changed one thing, they added some disciplinary action on page 9, section 8. They just added some violation policies, like first offense would be a written, second offense would be a final warning, and then third, fourth, and fifth would be termination. And that's really all they've changed within the policy.
Questions? And this was initiated by NDOT?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what they're consistent with, and I'd say that's what we ought to do, so.
Yep.
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll get that signed for you, Dylan, if it needs it. Just while I've got transit on the mind, and just to make Greg stand there for a second longer, encourage everybody to, maybe, I don't know, talk to your friends at church or whatever, because for sure he could use drivers, so. Or if you're just really bored and want to spend a few hours a week driving a bus,
Talk to your
talking to
friends
people.
at church.
Seems like we have several that come from churches. So, I mean,
You're
Dave,
mine
you
with
might have
church.
friends elsewhere. But.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, transit needs drivers is what I'm trying to say. Encouraging everybody to do your part. Next up, Chief Greg O'Brien.
Hi there, Chief Greg O'Brien, Seymour Police. I just want to make the board aware that there were 2 promotions that took place. Corporal Gabe Jordan was promoted to Street Sergeant, and Corporal Adam Surface was promoted to Detective Sergeant. So there's no vote on that, that's just to make you aware.
Congratulations to
He
them.
wanted to be on the notes, didn't he, or in the minutes?
He wanted to make the minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Next up, Chief Eric Roll.
I just want you to know that he did go to an accident prior to this and couldn't get a white shirt on.
Thank you, Greg.
And I couldn't get up here without driving around it.
You're all aware that we've been awarded a training tower for the state of Indiana, Indiana Homeland Security. I've got some bids for the groundwork that needs to be done. It'll be located on the east side of the Time Turner's building. The first bid is from BP2 Construction. This includes them doing all the groundwork, the stone and the concrete for $63,282. Rockford Outdoors is the same contract. They was going to remove the stone or remove the trees, dig down 10 inches, replace it with a stone. Their total and concrete, their total bid was $71,970. Chastain Excavating, he does the dirt work and his brother does the concrete, and their combined bid was $96,030. Foster Brothers was just going to do the dirt work only. They did not do anything on the concrete. Dirt work by itself was $51,000. Workman Builders, that's why I had them, because they just do concrete. They put a bid in for just the concrete. If Foster's got it for 51, and their concrete bid was $45,000.
How many? 25?
45. So BP2, I did ask.
Quite a bit cheaper than all the others, yeah.
Sounds like it.
And I did ask him if there would be any hidden cost or anything like that, and he said absolutely not. That's what he told me.
Questions?
They've been a good partner down at the station
Yeah.
too as well, so. By far the cheapest bid, so I don't have any problem with them doing the work.
I applaud you for asking him if there was gonna be any extra but that's, a bid's a bid, yeah. So-
Yeah, you show up with a change order though, and that's a different conversation.
I know, that's when I have my white shirt on.
Is that getting the trees down and getting rid of them
That's
too?
taking them trees down. Chad has agreed to haul off the
Pieces.
part of the trees that they can handle. And if not, then Bardick said they will dispose the rest of them, whatever they can handle.
I'd make the motion for Eric to enter into an agreement with BP.
I'll second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Oh, Mr. Dixon.
Disappointed you didn't ask him what was in the budget for this.
Hello, fellas.
Morning.
No. Thanks for having me up here. Just want to hit on United Way's Day of Caring on May 13th. I'm asking to close the farmer's market lot for that event. I believe last Board of Works, we approved some food trucks to go in that lot. That will still be allowed, obviously, but gives them a place to gather, if you will, during Day of Caring. I also have a few other things, if you'd like me to roll through that, or
What, so you're right, the Day of Caring food truck piece was approved last meeting. Do we need a form on that, Jane, to close? Yeah, fill out the form, but I don't mind if we do a vote on it, but you'll need to do the form. So.
okay. Will do. Could I hit on the next one on the?
Yep. Next
So we
up,
have a
well, wait a
truck-
minute, do you guys wanna vote on closing the farmer's market that lot that day? Any motions?
Sure. Here, I'll make a motion
Yeah.
to close that lot for the day.
And I'll second.
May 13th, closing the lot at farmer's market. All those in favor, motion second, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
back to the policy.
So, truck backing policy, it's a policy we're putting in place to ensure, safe backing practices with everyone at Public Works. We pretty much already do everything that's on this, but this just ensures that we hold everyone accountable and continue pushing on safely.
And this came from?
Oh, sorry, Christina, thank you
yep.
she drafted it,
I drafted this,
and she has looked at it, obviously.
Yep, I've looked at it, and like Chad said, they essentially do these things already. This just has it in writing, and the parts that overlap with the overarching city employee handbook all jive. So there's no contradictory policies at DPW versus what's contained in the larger employee handbook.
With that being the case, I'd make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion second to approve the truck backing policy. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Chad, are we going to, make copies for each employee to sign off on and have in their files? Okay.
Now that it's been approved, we'll have a meeting probably next week, if it's all right, because we're a little bit taxed right now.
It's Make Seymour Shine Week, I can't imagine.
Yeah, believe it or not.
How's that going?
Pretty good, actually.
Busy?
Yeah, they're killing it.
Probably very easily add a line for employees to sign off on the right side, down there by your name on this, so.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. I'll say they were doing an amazing job, though. No overtime yet.
I donated this
Knock
morning.
on wood. You donated what?
This morning.
Right on, good deal.
I really doubt that what I said up there will make it till tomorrow.
It's the junkers are still out, you know.
Probably gone by now.
Probably. Could I hit on Second Street as well? Over here?
That's what your next line item is.
All right, so I'm requesting, I don't have the date here, I think it's the 22nd of this month. I'd like to request to close the intersection of Second and Chestnut Street. We did not plan to do a closure. You can notice, obviously, on the way here, there is a closure. Reason for it was a safety concern that they noticed out in the field as everyone starts getting put together. I am a firm believer if it's in the contract, that's what you do. But seeing what they're dealing with, I have to agree with them. It does save several safety factors. There's a few pictures there just to give you an idea of the auger. But the biggest part was tearing out, and we still have more concrete to tear out. With that, they're loading a truck and tearing out next to a live single lane with flaggers versus if they were to shut it down during work hours only and open it every night up as they roll forward.
What days you say, Chad?
Now and through Monday the 21st, I believe.
What are they doing there?
So right now, Midwest Electric is there. The pictures in there, that's where they're boring underground for the new bases for the new stoplight poles.
That looks like a really big
It's huge.
auger.
It's huge. And then you can see how big that thing is and how deep they actually went in. I mean,
Looks like it's a little muddy.
yeah, it's definitely some money.
I hope it's mud. I hope it's mud.
Yeah.
Jared?
But we're working really hard to make sure that we're talking to the business owners. Most of them are understanding. I know there's been some nasties here and there, but overall, I've been there myself to several of them face to face. And by the time we get done, I mean, they get it, they understand.
It's all part of the process.
We may be putting up another additional road closed ahead sign west of the intersection, but there is a need, I will say that. With that though, with the road closure, it also speeds the job up a little bit. With an additional closure, I have talked to Midwestern Electric, and they normally work 4 10-hour days. They are willing to work 5 10-hour days to as a thank you and trying to get this done sooner than later. No, it's less of a convenience or less of a closure. So hopefully that day of the 21st or whatever that's the long end of it. Hopefully we can get that back open prior to. Any time saved on the contract's great, obviously. But weather permitting and everything else, we're hoping to start milling and filling by end of next week on that section from, was it Pine to the tracks downtown. Still has to be some concrete work along the corridor, but at least we can see some progress that way.
Questions?
Nope. I'll make a motion to close that intersection through the 21st.
Second?
Motion and second for intersection closure daytime only, right, Chad?
Yes, sir.
It'll reopen every night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor signify with aye.
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 Do they bore that with all 4 corners?
They only do 2 corners at a time per contract.
But all 4 of them eventually get
They
it?
will be done, yes. And after this weekend, second in Walnut, ADA, Ramsdale, that will be poured back.
Did they do the
Saturday.
same thing down there?
Mhm.
Did they?
Anything else, Chad?
I believe that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chris Singleton, City Attorney.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
You usually don't get your own spot on the
I
agenda.
know. Late last week, I was approached by an environmental consulting firm out of Indianapolis who is doing some groundwater sampling at the direction of IDEM at 9th and Ewing. The initial reason for the monitoring involved the gas station there and some concerns about leaching product into groundwater. And IDEM has asked this company to monitor groundwater in 2 wells located on city cemetery property. And they sent me access agreement, basically asking the city to provide them with permission to access those 2 groundwater wells on the city cemetery property. I reached out and asked if they could give me an estimate on how many times they would need to access the property or how long the sampling would occur. And I sent an email, or I sent an email that I received at your stations if you want to read it. He said the short answer is he has no idea, and then gave me a in my view, a pretty reasonable explanation as to why he has no idea. He said it could be as few as one occurrence or over the next year or two. It just kind of depends on the results that they get as they sample. They do have to provide the city with notice within 5 days of them accessing the property per the agreement. They have to repair the property should it be damaged. The nature of the sampling is non-invasive, so they won't be trenching, boring, anything like that. It's just
The whole,
lifting a cap up and accessing the well. So,
does the park board need to, is the park gonna run in that?
Parks do run the city cemetery, so.
They probably have to do the same thing we are, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and they've got a meeting Monday, so.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I wanna know
Motion to
who those
approve.
wells feed. Who drives a well in the city cemetery?
the firm that I spoke with, he said he's not sure who put them there or when, but they're there. And he did provide a map, a pretty detailed map of their location.
Flowers board.
So I'm not sure when they were.
Doug Montgomery did the monitoring up until recently,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it looks like they're both located on the south end of the property. One right along 9th Street and one maybe
If they
100
find the
feet.
Reno treasure, that belongs to the city, right?
Yes, I'll make sure that's, I'll put in an amendment in the agreement. Make sure that's in there.
Wells Fargo still has a claim on.
Let's see, get rid of Bernie.
Any other questions on the topic that may or may not be?
I'd make a motion to approve that work.
Second. Motion is second. All those in favor signify with aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, anything else, Chris?
That's it for me.
Next up, Bernie Hausberger. I'm skipping you, Bernie.
Skip before.
Good morning. I have a bid opening that happened this morning on the Seymour East Side Industrial Roadways. They're at Hartsel Drive. I'm going to give those up to you. Yeah, should already have one.
Okay.
Thank you.
We had we had 9 or 10 people who actually picked up plans, but only 2 bidders supplied us with numbers and went through the bidding process with us. The 2 bidders were Dave O'Mara Construction and King's Trucking, with King's Trucking coming in less on all of the different bid scenarios. We had a phase 1 base bid and a phase 2 base bid that were put in the bid for mainly timing reasons. One would be built earlier than the phase 2 because we wanted the roadway that went to Vital Farms. I believe it's called Henry Street.
Henry Lane, maybe, it's Henry something, yeah.
Okay, and so that's the phase 1 bid. And then that includes water and sewer lines in there, so it's got utilities included with both of these phases. And then there's an alternate bid that is just getting through there. I don't know if you know, going up Hartsel Drive, there's a 90-degree turn, then a 90-degree turn as you go north. What we're doing is making that an S curve to smoothly get through that roadway in the future. So that's what this phase 2 base bid is. And then the alternate phase 2 is just an extension further north to the city limits, basically. So, yeah, I think we've got some good numbers here. Like I said, King's Trucking is the current low bidder for phase 1 and 2 at $3,772,500. Their alternate, with the alternate, it would be $4,425,850. I've got a letter of award, but it needed to be contingent on
some state funding that we're trying to get through the Ready Ready 2 process. And I don't think that's gonna be available until the end of the month or maybe early May. So I'm not sure what we can just table these bids until we know a little more about that last $2 million. We've got $2 million already ready to go and $2 million for, that we're expecting from Ready at this point. Like I said, I have the notice of award for phase 1 and 2 contingent on the final state funding, or we could just table this until we know for sure, and then we can go from there. I'm kind of looking for direction.
Is there any need to approve this? I mean,
Well,
pending?
I would say go ahead and make it contingent on
Okay.
the ready funds being, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of the right word to use on that one. Because the ready funding is already through the pre-approval process. But it's like everything state related, there's about 9 layers to the process, so.
I mean,
But I would say do it pending the state funding being secured.
You're good with all the
I
Kings.
just didn't know if it meant, if tabling could cause a problem or whatever, or actually,
Yeah, I would say just go ahead and move forward with it.
that's a significant savings compared to
Yeah.
what O'Meara came up with.
Well, and if we go ahead and give the initial approval pending that, then Kings also can start working on the
It's good for them to
timeline.
know that they can,
That's
yeah,
what we
if they
need.
need to bid something else, so, yeah.
So-
No, I did not include the alternate in the approval letter. If you want the extra, if you wanna go to 4.4, that's just, we can actually look at that again if more funding comes together, but, from what I understand, we need to be around 4 million.
Yeah.
What did you say that alternate did?
Oh, it's the extension of the Hartsel Drive, another 300 feet or so to get to the city limits. Right now, we're getting through the S curve and stopping the expansion, I guess, or the new roadway. So it'll have to taper in to the existing, it'll turn into the existing, kind of, it look like a county road from there on to the north.
I would say we just do phases 1 and 2, and we can come back to the alternate phase 2 version down the road if we need to.
Okay.
And flip side, we, may ask Kings if, when the time comes, if that becomes an option. But right now, I don't know that, because you're right, around 4 is what Ready and RDC and everything has put together, so.
So yeah, that is my recommendation, to approve contingent on that, and as I noted in that memo.
So the motion should read accepting phase 1 and 2, contingent on
Ready
Ready.
2.0 funding.
Okay. That'll be my motion,
Second.
our motion.
Darren, you gotta figure out how to word that in the minutes later.
No problem.
Motion to approve contingent on additional funding being secured. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So Bernie, phase 2 involves straightening out the S curve.
Yes.
So, I'm sure my office is interested to know if there's any property acquisitions that would be involved with that.
No, because that was back in the Wayman days. Jim Wayman had that set up to be completed and that right of way was donated
Okay,
back in when the parcels were split up originally.
okay.
So that's thanks to Jim Wayman for that.
What else you got, Bernie?
Okay, on CCMG projects, I guess I'll do 2024 first. The railroad is officially permitted, so we're ready to go on when O'Meara wants to start work on Shields Avenue up through, I'm gonna say 9th Street crossing there. So we've got a little pavement work there that we're going to continue and then go to the cemetery with that. And that's weather permitting, and when their crews really get kicking in the high gear, then they're supposed to go to the south of 50 and get some of the work done on Laurel and Brown Street. And then we've also got work on Bateman Drive, and we're continuing to work on Springer. If you want to drive Springer right now, don't, because it's pretty much in destruction mode at this point. So we're cleaning that up though, coming together. CCMG 2025 utilities are right now out for the utility companies to take a look at our plans, make sure that if they need to put in some new lines, maybe they have a few months here to get those in before we make the roads black. We just want to make sure that utilities don't come in and tear up our road 2 weeks after. I know 3 weeks after we can live with, but 2 weeks I'm hoping that we can stay without anybody tearing up the new roadway. Let's see, that'll be advertised then in about a week for the plans to go out. So I think first week in two meetings from now, we will have bid opening for CCMG projects for the 23 jobs for that. So any questions on CCMG projects?
So first meeting in May on bid openings.
Correct.
Okay. And you'll do a quick review so we can get those under contract?
Yeah, we'll push those as hard as we can.
Okay.
Then, real quick, LPA projects that are still under design. O'Brien Street projects were phase 1, 2, and 3 were 2 and 3 were into property purchasing right now. So, lot of discussions going on there. We're trying to make sure that project gets ready for a December letting with NDOT. So hopefully next year, this time, we're talking about O'Brien Street reconstruction at that time. Then
That when that's supposed to start is next year.
yeah, it'll be
Hopefully.
next year. That'll be the one between kind of through the railroad tracks from Village Green to 4th Street roundabout. And we're still not done with the 4th Street roundabout. Chad's we're still dealing with a fence issue, trying to get some railing up there. And then lastly, I want to thank Chad and Brad Isaacs for coordinating the 2nd Street project. I know that's a trick, so I appreciate that. And then lastly, happy Easter to everybody, since I won't see you until the last weekend of April or whatever. So have a nice day.
Thank you, Bernie. Thanks, Bernie.
Bernie, do we actually need to acquire any property from Village Green on that?
Yes.
Okay. Just wondering.
Gotta be some expensive ground.
Sneak in there.
Do we need to try?
I do a correction to what I said earlier.
Sure.
The pavement that will be going down is from Community to said road,
The Pine.
Pine. Not this end, it would be the other end, so. just wanna-
Hey, everybody, stay tuned. 2nd Street's coming soon.
Yeah, right?
When do you expect that, Chad?
Don't do it.
Pavement.
Don't do it.
Don't.
Whatever you say out loud, the people will run.
Never mind. Cancel that.
Mr. Bose.
I have 6 requests for sewer adjustments. First one is Modesto Alvarado, 610 East 3rd Street. Pipe burst under the house, fixed and repaired. Water meters accommodate those comments. Looking for a total adjustment of $214.11. Joyce Cooper, 1310 Snyder Avenue, water line leak, see attached. Again, it has been repaired and meters have come back in line. John Davis, water line break, see attached. Same scenario, receipt for repairs and water meter readings have come back in line. Looking for a credit of $192.15. Scott Sedum, 219 Shetman Avenue, busted pipe under the house, see attached. Again, seen water usage come back in line since that happened. And Tim Harden, 802 North Blish, overestimate by Indiana American Water Company for 3 months during meter change out. I guess it took them 3 months to change out a meter. He's looking for a credit of $87.84. And Brian Rigby, 515 West 2nd Street, Leak adjustment due to company leak, see attached. Indiana American Water, 26,300 gallons of excess consumption was applied, to the account because of meter issue. So looking for a credit of $192.15. All of them meet our criteria as it did not go down the sanitary sewer.
With that being the case, I'll make a motion to accept the sewer bill adjustments.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Anything else, Darren?
State Board of Accounts has, started their audit. So, other than that, there'll just be a couple young ladies in and around City Hall. If they stop by your department or ask you any questions, they will send out, questionnaires via email to a handful of employees. Please fill them out promptly and get them back to them. So, just making you aware.
I walked around the corner the other day, I'm like, who's this person eating lunch? And then I remembered they were here, so it was a moment. Anything from the board?
Not from myself.
Anything from the audience? We'll start. I was gonna say start on one side and go the other, but nobody's moving. I wanna give a shout out to, all of the city staff that worked on flood-related stuff over the weekend. You know, whether it was Mr. Dixon working with Toby Ortman from EMA or JG and his frequent updates that I got over the course of the weekend, just in general. Thanks to everybody that did a good response there, and thanks to everybody that showed up with a lot of heart to try to make sure that they, you know, they were available if needed. So
Very close to being a very bad situation.
within a few inches probably of being a much worse situation.
I had a bag out ready to pack.
So yeah, but shout out to blueberries to everybody on that one. That the listening to the, or not listening to, watching the text messages was interesting. Eric, are you back in your house yet?
I will be tonight.
Okay, so I think I watched half the text group sync when Eric was like, "Yeah, I can't get home yet. I may have to replace some stuff." So, but if there's nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys.